Hi there and welcome to this lecture on gimbal pitch. I'm going to be going into the various concepts around the different gimbal pitch settings being disabled, focused PI and interpolate, and I hope that you gain value out of this and it helps you better to understand the shots that you're setting up. Thanks. Okay, we're now going to be explaining the concepts of gimbal pitch using the mission hub at flyleechy.com/hub. I will do this by dropping 2 waypoints onto the map. Okay, if we go to waypoint 1, we'll see that we have 3 different settings for the gimbal pitch: disabled, focus POI, or interpolate. Pitch really refers to the angle of the gimbal. If it's at 0 degrees, it's looking at the horizon, and if it's at -90, it's looking directly beneath it. So disabled allows you to manually control the gimbal pitch during the mission. I don't recommend this because with pro cinematic footage, you want everything to be smooth and to happen consistently and evenly. And when you manually control the gimbal, sometimes, and most often than not, the speeding up, the slowing down, the stopping and the starting is obvious and it can ruin the shot. It's a subtle thing, but I believe we've got Leechy, we've got autopilot, and that's what we should use. Okay, now we're going to be looking at focus PI, so we have to drop a PI onto the map, 1 meter high, go back to waypoint 1, set it to focus PI, and the same for waypoint 2. Okay, going back to waypoint 1. So focus PI, Leechy is telling the gimbal, hey, I want you to be looking at this point of interest, and I want you to keep it in frame. So no matter where you are, no matter what altitude you're at, these are the angles that you should adopt. So basically, it's all about controlling the gimbal pitch automatically and smoothly to keep the point of interest in frame. And that is very powerful, and that's what makes Leechy so amazing, is that it just does this so beautifully. So at waypoint 1, at 31 meters in the air, the gimbal pitch should be at -35 to get point of interest 1 beautifully framed, and -37 degrees for waypoint 2. This focus PI is affected by a couple of factors. First one being distance. If we bring the waypoint close to the PI, the angle gets steeper. Conversely, the further away we go, the angle gets shallower. And also by altitude. If we raise the altitude of the waypoint, the angle gets steeper. You're going high up, so you're looking down more. And if you bring it right down, the altitude gets very shallow. So those are the factors that affect focus PI. Next, we're going to be looking at interpolate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mimic a shot that you're going to learn later in the course called look down approach. Interpolate is very useful for very specific shots, and I'm going to take you through those. So what we're going to do is we're going to work with these two waypoints. We're going to make them look ahead, and then I'm going to show you what interpolate and how it works. We're going to bring up the altitude to the same level. Try to get that to 29. Yeah, close enough. Okay, both on 29. So to understand interpolate, try and think of it as transition. So interpolate is where Leechy allows you to determine a starting angle and then a finishing angle. So at waypoint 1, the angle will be, say, 0 degrees, and at waypoint 2, the angle could be -90 degrees. Let's just see what's going on with that. Waypoint 2, -90. Okay, going back to waypoint 1, interpolate 0 degrees. Okay, so I was in focus PI. So waypoint 1, 0, waypoint 2, -90. So what that means is that when the phantom flies from 1 to 2, it will equally and evenly use the gimbal controller to pitch downwards, starting at 0 and going to -90, such that it's equally spaced. You're not going to see speeding up or slowing down. If you have focus PI, it might start off gradually, and then as you get over the PI, it starts, the pitch starts changing a lot quicker. You'll see more like of an adaptive response, whereas interpolate or transition is exactly even and equal. It takes the number of degree angles and divides it up into the time frame that it has to complete and spreads it out perfectly evenly. Interpolate is used for shots that are very specific, like in Film School 1 where we did the forward and backward reveal, or in Film School 2 where we do the look down approach. I'm now going to switch over to a cross-sectional diagram helping us illustrate the point of interpolate a little bit better. Okay, so on this diagram we have two waypoints. First waypoint, the gimbal pitch angle using interpolate is 0. The second one minus 45, and here we can see the phantom in the air. So at waypoint 1 it's going to be looking dead ahead with a 0 degree, and then as it flies to waypoint 2 the gimbal will slowly pitch down until when it gets to waypoint 2 it's looking down. So there are different use cases where you'll use interpolate versus focus PRI, and there's a whole different discussion about whether you should use focus or interpolate when you have more than one PRI, and that's an entirely different debate. I'm not going to go into that now. And we are having discussions with about that point on Facebook, and I know Lychee is making improvements. But the point is that interpolate gives you absolute control of over the angles, whereas focus lets Lychee choose the angles for you. And that is basically the concept of gimbal pitch. Something to be aware of when you're flying. If your remote controller loses signal, you won't have any control over the gimbal pitch. That is applicable for disabled, where you're trying to control it manually through focus PRI or interpolates. In all three scenarios, the gimbal pitch controller will be inactive. And as soon as you regain communication between the remote controller and the phantom, you'll be able to control the gimbal pitch. So just something to bear in mind. If you're flying and you're at quite a distance, or you're behind a massive obstacle like a mountain or a big building, and the mission is still running, which it will do, but the pitch angles stop working, just bear in mind that it's probably because of this, and that is related to the SDK and how these missions work. So that's it. I hope that was instructional. If you have any questions, please bring them to us. The best place is to go to the Phantom Film School Facebook group, because there are a lot of smart and motivated people who will help you with whatever questions you have. Alternatively, you can reach out to me on Udemy or on Facebook. I hope that helps, and look forward to your awesome videos on the Facebook group. Thank you.